coming out tonight. For those of you I haven't yet had a chance to meet, I'm Mac D'Alessandro, and I am running against Steve Lynch. And I know that that's something, yeah, that generates a response in a lot of places. For those of you who have not been following this race, I want to tell you that this is the most important race in the country in the fight not just for more Democrats, but for better ones. Most of you know Steve Lynch was the only Democrat in New England, in Massachusetts no less, the home of Ted Kennedy, to vote against health care reform. He had no excuse whatsoever, well actually he had a bunch of excuses, just none of them were any good, for voting with Republicans and insurance companies over patients. But this isn't the first time that Steve Lynch has sold us out to side with Republicans. He voted for the Iraq War and its continued funding, even as our economy here at home collapsed. He voted for the Stupak Amendment, greatest assault on a woman's right to choose since the Hyde Amendment of the 80s. He voted to pass and reauthorize the Patriot Act, just like George Bush wanted him to. If a Democrat from Massachusetts can't find the spine to vote the right way on these critical issues, these aren't procedural votes. These are key, fundamental issues that have helped in their own way determine the direction the country's heading in. And if a Democrat from Massachusetts can't find the spine to vote the right way on those issues, how can we expect Democrats in places like Nebraska and Arkansas and Indiana and Ohio to stay with us on these tough votes? This is why we're in this fight together. Because we don't need more Democrats, we need better ones. We need Democrats who are going to stand for progressive values and policies, and that hasn't been happening. Because too many Democrats are running scared from Fox News and Glenn Beck and the Tea Party and their corporate donors. Well, I'm going to tell it like it is. There's some simple truths here. Truth number one is that we are still fighting two wars in the Middle East at a cost of more than $13 billion a month. Truth number two, we passed health care reform without any real discussion about a public option, much less single payer. Truth number three is we passed financial regulatory reform without any real attempt at accountability, which is how you end up with hundreds of billions of dollars paid out in bailouts and billions of dollars paid out in CEO bonuses. And the last simple truth is that we are faced with a critical threat to our democracy in the enhancement of the legal fiction that somehow corporations are people too. Now, this is not what we expected when we woke up on November 5th, 2008, and Democrats controlled the White House and both houses of Congress. But as we know, change happens from the bottom up, and it doesn't end with an election. Now, I've believed this my whole life, my whole career, both in legal services and in the labor movement, and now we need leaders in Congress who get us too. I am going to be the congressman, when I'm elected congressman in the 9th Congressional District, and I'm telling you right now, I'm very confident we're going to do this, there's some things that are going to happen. I am always going to fight to ensure that we have good-paying jobs that can't be outsourced. I'm not going to side with the Gucci loafered lobbyist set. I'm going to fight to ensure that we never, ever sacrifice our future by cutting education and laying off teachers just because times are tough. It always amazes me that in tough times there's the call for us to tighten our belts on things like education and health care, and that belt tightening is never applied to the Pentagon. And I'm going to fight like hell to make sure that we don't just defend the historic health care reform, but we fight to improve it and make it more affordable for families and small businesses. Look, the math at the end of the day is really simple. Democrats have a 37-vote margin in the House. But that doesn't seem to matter a whole lot when Democrats in Democratic districts, like Steve Lynch, vote with Republicans. 34 Democrats voted against health care reform. 26 Democrats voted against financial regulatory reform. With Democrats like these, Who needs enemies? That's why we are in this fight together. That's why we are joined together in this fight against Stephen Lynch, not just to win a congressional seat in the Massachusetts night, but really to win back the soul of the Democratic Party on behalf of workers and consumers and families and communities. Thanks again so much for coming out tonight. And I think any questions.